Dan Shinder from Drum Talk TV, and you're watching Musicians on the Record with David Ward. Hit it!
This is huge, Musicians on the Record. Bring it on.
Hi, welcome to Musicians on the Record. I'm David Ward, and we love to talk with musicians and artists from the world of music. And from time to time, we are going to bring you some special topics on the business of music and networking. And today, we are getting our social media on with founder and CEO of Drum Talk TV, Dan Shinder, whose new book, he's an author, for God's sakes, Social Media Marketing for Musicians That Works. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thanks, David. How are you?
I'm great. Great to talk with you. Thanks for being back on the show. And congratulations on your new book. This is fantastic. How did this all come about?
Thanks. And first of all, it's great to be back. I love what you do. You get great artists on, not just drummers, which is great, and big names, as well as, some local hidden gems and stuff, which is really cool. Love what you do. And folks, when we're done, poke through a bunch of interviews because David's got a lot of good stuff. The funny thing about the book is that it's so much work. Even if you know what you're writing about, writing a book is a big undertaking. And the funny thing is that, like, I have a physical copy in front of me and it's so thin. And I think to myself, oh my God, it was so much work to do this. And the work is really in not remembering the information or anything like that. It's really in making it so that, for me anyways, I really wanted to make it easy to read and easy to understand, because I know it's easy to apply these things that I teach and talk about. And I wanted it to be where an 8-year-old could read this and go, okay, I get that, which was easy to do since I wrote it. But, but that was kind of a challenge to just make sure, with a Kindle Short, which I have in paperback, you don't want it to be too long. So my personal limit is 40 pages, 42 pages. I think this one's 36 or 38. And so when I get 36, I get so wound up and so passionate about this that it's hard for me to stop writing. So it's a whole different way of teaching it. For the last 5.5 years, I've been teaching it not only in the music industry to educators and artists, whether they're gold and platinum artists or whether they're up-and-coming artists or weekend warriors, but also for some really big brands in the industry, as well as multi-million-dollar corporations outside the music industry, millionaire entrepreneurs. And I'm used to ongoing consulting programs for 6 months or a year, or doing a 9 or 12-hour, 3-hour at a time, multiple day course. And then I got to somehow write something that fits into this. Like, how do you do that? But I was determined to do it for one simple reason. And this comes with a disclaimer. So for those of you watching, I'm from your world. I'm from your community. I've been a lifelong musician my whole life. I'm 55. I've been playing music since my 7th birthday. Got my first drum set. Some of it's mixed in with that. And so everything I teach and everything I say is really with love and from the heart. I sincerely mean that. I have to say, after 3 years on and off of teaching it in the music industry, there's a difference between knowing that somebody needs something and them not knowing or wanting it. Mm-hmm. And I literally ran out of places in my office. I ran out of places, not this office, but upstairs, my office. I ran out of places on the walls to bang my head against. And I stopped even trying to sell my courses or teach it to people, even $97, $147 online stuff. I just said, I can't take it anymore. So heartbreaking. No one wants to learn. Then people don't apply it. So I took a sabbatical from the music industry as far as teaching social media on steroids. That's my brand. Got the emblem right there. And then I said, you know what? No, this has got to work. So I started getting some new clients, got some great results. And then I started to feel the same thing. There's so many musicians that either think they have it figured out, they think they're getting results and they're not. They don't know what results are, or they just don't want to learn, or they're too busy being artsy, fartsy, airy-fairy, and think that they don't have to do that. And you do, because this isn't the 1970s where there's millions of dollars rolling out of the record company offices giving you $100,000 advance. It's not like that anymore. And if you think that your PR agent or your manager or your record label or your sister-in-law or whatever is going to do it, they don't know how either. And if they did, their numbers would be screaming and yours would be already. So please learn how to do this. So here's what I decided. I still offer one-on-one consulting and one-on-one courses and all that stuff. And it can get really expensive. It can be very inexpensive, but it's more expensive than it's not. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to spill my guts out. I'm going to teach everything I know in a series of 10 Kindle shorts that people can get for free on Amazon Kindle Unlimited. Free! And they can also get it for $2.99 as an ebook, and they can get the paperback for $5.99 in black and white.
That's great.
And it's, I think, $12.99 in color. And you don't need the $12.99. Amazon does that. It came out that way. And the cover's always going to be in color. And when I started doing this, it goes back to 2007 when I was being told by a digital marketer what blogging was. And I had a video production company for 14 years before I started Drum Talk TV. And he was telling me, my friend Mark was telling me, so you got to give stuff away. You got to give up information, this and that. And I thought, why would I teach my clients how to do video production when I'm trying to sell them video? I just didn't get it. And this lasted a long time until just a few years ago, actually, right before I started Drum Talk TV. But then when I started thinking of these books, I started thinking about that. And I thought, I'm going to sit at the grown-ups table and I'm going to realize that giving all this away is not going to put my social media business out of business. There's always going to be that business. There's always going to be the corporations and the millionaire entrepreneurs and even musicians with not a lot of money who are serious that want to work with me one-on-one that I could give a really good price to. What was more important to me was to come out with something that would help everybody, because I'm really tired of being on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and just cringing at all these things. It's like watching somebody try to run up the stairs with a broken leg. Or I could go on and on with analogies, but what I see happening, and again, I don't want to sound like a you-know-what, but I say this with love. I'm so sick of seeing everyone follow each other over the cliff. It's just using hashtags that don't mean anything, that don't do anything.
Yeah, so can we talk about it?
Sorry.
Can we talk about a couple of examples of those things that you see musicians struggling with that they could be doing better? Give us a couple examples of that.
Absolutely. And thanks for asking that. I know I tend to get real wordy, and folks, hang in there. I promise there's value to this other than getting the book. One of them is this. So I don't know why the human race is behaving in such a manner where most people use the phone like this, which they're supposed to. Hello, yes. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Musicians on the Record. I love that show. Oh, he's got the Drum Talk TV guy on? Oh, wait, hold on. There's this really cool car I got to take a video of. Hold on. Why are we shooting videos like this? There's not a video player in the world shaped like this other than music composition and legal documents. Other than that, the video screen you're watching this on, and even if it's a phone, turn it like that. Guess what? It's shaped like your television, your flat screen, your computer monitor, your laptop, the player windows in Vimeo and YouTube and Facebook and everything else. And when you shoot a video like this, and someone like maybe a record executive is at their desk watching it on their PC or their laptop or whatever, they're watching a video shot like this on a screen like this. So you got this narrow, stupid thing in the middle with, stop doing that. Just go watch. Go like this. Now I'm going to show you something really extraordinary. It works for lefties too. Watch. See that? So things like that are simple things that you don't have to be smart to do. And there is a little common sense involved, but it's more so just look at the result. Does that look right to you? It looks like you're watching something through a cracked open door. Plus, you don't get as much in the view. So that's my little rant on video.
Well, it's almost like living in a house and not using part of the house, right? Why not use all of the real estate? And
that's a good example. Or having the curtain only that far open on the stage while there's a whole band playing.
Yep.
Another one, and volume. So volume 2 comes out. It'll be out by the time you air this. So get volume 2 also. And volume 3 or 4, I haven't decided the order between the intro to video and hashtags and the other tags. That is also something I get really wound up about because, and people, I want you to think about this for a minute. Hashtag drums, whether it's trending somewhere or not, is not doing anything for your post. And now I'm going to explain why. Hashtags drums, hashtag drum life, hashtag Zildjian, hashtag Yamaha, hashtag generic doesn't do anything for your post. Because if I click on that hashtag, it's going to bring up the other 632,491 other posts with that generic hashtag. Where do you think yours is going to show up? It's not. If somebody Googles that hashtag, it's not going to make your post more findable, especially if you put 5, 10, or 15 tags in a post. Facebook and Instagram consider that digital littering, and they're going to limit how many people see that post.
So that's why hashtags are bad.
Using generic ones are bad. They just don't do anything for your brand or your post. They don't make it more findable. It doesn't make it reach more people. What you want to do, and this is really valuable, you want to use hashtags that are unique. So for instance, let's say David Ward is in a band. What's the name of your band, David?
The Howlers.
The Howlers. So the Howlers might even be too generic, but you could say David Ward Howlers drums. It sounds long, but it doesn't matter how long it is, just like an email address. No one needs to remember it or type it out. So it could be David Ward drum lessons, David Ward, and then you could fill in a rudiment. But if you just put the rudiment, that's too generic. Okay. So here's how it works. It's unique to your brand and your channel so that no one else is going to use that. No one else uses DTTV NAM 18. Every piece of NAM show coverage from the Winter NAM Show 2018, I almost said 1918.
It's coming.
And they were doing it then too. It was like 4 years old then. That means that no one else is using that. And when someone clicks on that tag in one post, it's going to populate with every other NAM show coverage post we've done with that hashtag. So that's how it helps the viewer. That's how it creates more discovery. That's how it creates more reach for those posts. How it helps the business owner or the brand owner or the content manager or whoever is that I could go, me or one of my staff can go and publish posts of a Facebook fan page, for example. I use Facebook as the example for everything because quite frankly, no matter what anybody tells you or what you think, that's where the people are. Are there people not on Facebook? Yes, but there's 2 billion people on it every month, even the millennials, even the 18 to 24-year-olds. Trust me on this. We'll get into that on another show where it's in the book. But my point is that you have to have a fan page. Don't try to make this work on a personal page and say, oh, when I hit 5,000, that'll convert it. No. There's tools that aren't available on the personal profile that are available on the fan page, the business page. So you go to publishing tools, you go to, and it defaults to published posts, ones that have published. You click search, or the search is there, sorry, and then you put in I would put in that hashtag, DTTVNAM18. It's going to bring up every one of our posts with that tag, and at a glance, on a list, I could see the reach, I could see the video views, and all these things, so I could see which ones are doing better. The ones that are doing better, guess what? Those are the ones we're going to keep reposting and spread on other channels. And look at, why is it better? Is the audio better? Was the setting better? Was just the interview better? Was it because it wasn't me doing the interview? It was Milu Angelique, one of my young ladies who is just wonderful at doing interviews. Is it because of the artist? It could be just the way the stars and planets were aligned that night. Right. So the hashtag hustle is a bunch of BS. Don't use generic hashtags. Use hashtags unique to your brand and watch the magic happen.
Yeah, so we're really talking about branding here. And, if it's Susie Smith or Joe Johnson or whatever, it's Joe Johnson Guitar or whatever that is, put your brand on there.
Right.
Yeah.
And make those hashtags unique so they work for you and you don't get lost in the sea of everyone else using the same hashtags on hundreds of thousands of posts. So that's video, that's hashtags. And now I'm going to give away something extremely valuable, and it's in the book. It's in the book, it's in the courses I teach. And folks, please get something to write on. And not because this is long, but this is important. You'll want to look at this. This will change your numbers the moment you start doing this. The magic ingredients for the text in every post is to include the following 3 ingredients. One is a question, one is a description, one is a call to action. The deal with that is we all want engagement and we all want to reach more people. Well, the best way to get people to give you engagement, to comment, is to ask a question. And they'll say, oh, I get to have my voice heard. This is important. Everyone, for better or worse, everyone wants their opinion heard, or, it's an invitation. It shows that you're not just speaking at them like you always are, but you're including them. It's the inclusive factor. Yep. So ask a question. The question would have to do with the post. So let's say I'm going to do a little 1-minute drum solo. My question might be, whose drumming do you like to incorporate the most if you develop drum solos? And then I would say mine is John Bonham. Here's a John Bonham flavored drum solo. So there's the question, begs an answer. That's the engagement. There's the description, talks about what I'm doing and why it's relevant to the question. And then the call to action might be, click here, and there's a link to go see our Bonzo Bash coverage by Brian Tichy's great event. So it's all related, and I promise you, the moment you, and if you didn't rewind, if you didn't write that down, rewind and write that down and put it next to wherever you do your post, because I promise it'll make a huge difference. So it's very easy, practical things. Like I said, it really is written so an 8-year-old could do this. Right. And I'm doing this to save the world.
I love it.
I'm doing this to save the music community and show everybody what I've put 20,000 plus hours into, and I know what works. Yep. And yes, there's some pivoting. Yes, there's some adapting. Yes, there's some flexibility that has to be involved as things change. But you have to understand, it's not so much about how the platform works that you're using. Yes, you have to know how to drive the car and all that, but it's much more about the human behavior of how social media is used. What's in here, what's in this area, if anything at all, depends on who your target market is, and really how these platforms are used so that you could make the most of that and not just barf out thoughts and assume that everyone's going to dig what you're posting, because they're not.
Right.
And that's just the loving truth of it.
Yeah, so if you want engagement, you got to be engaging and engage your audience as well. It would be like, unless you're Paul McCartney or Robert Plant or whatever, it'd be like walking into a room and just yelling at people and then leaving, right? It's sort of like, no, you go and start a conversation.
Yeah, exactly right. And by the way, Paul McCartney told me that Elvis told him that name dropping is rude.
Okay, got it. We'll try not to do that then.
No, I'm teasing. And I'd like, if you don't mind, I hope this doesn't come off as bragging, but I'd like to read a couple of the testimonials on the back of the book that
Please.
Some of you people out there might know.
Please.
Okay, so the foreword to this particular volume was written by Linda Arcello Earle, good friend, and she's also the wife of Roger Earle, the founder of Foghat. And I gave them my course. We worked together, her and her social media guru that works on their staff, and it helped crowdfund their most recent album. So how would you like to learn, just in this much space, a lot of the things that I worked with them on how to crowdfund a project, an album, or whatever it is. So Linda says, I won't read the whole forward, this is on the back of the book. Linda says, with what we learned, it helped us get our new album crowdfunded. But why just kind of explain that? Here's another one. You may know this guy, drummer. What we learned from Dan's social media on steroids course has helped with the promoting of our debut album. That's Troy Lucetta of Tesla, referring to the first album of Seville Row with him, Mark Bonilla, the other guys.
Great.
This is a good one. Doug Miola. Hi, Doug. Doug's out there watching. Doug's a pretty established drummer, touring musician, session guy, and educator, American dude that lives in Calgary. So Doug says, in 3 weeks, I went from reaching 114 people a week to 186,573. Think about that. That's like a 12,000% increase. My video views went from 3, which I can't say with a straight face, from 3 videos a week to 41,817. And when these people are referring to my social media on steroids course, that's what's in the book. It's everything I teach is in these volumes. I didn't want to put out one giant fat thing for $47.50 or whatever, because no one would buy it. No, everyone would be daunted by a book this thick with all this in there. But these little bite-sized chunks that take maybe an hour to read, and read it a few times. I keep doing this to show just, look how thin it is. I mean, how much time could that cost possibly? It's so thin, there's no spine.
It ain't War and Peace. You can carry it with you. You can take it, make notes, highlight it.
It's got
stuff in it.
Some pictures to take up some space. Let me find one in particular, show you why this is important. And I show why someone failed at their crowdfunding and raised $900 of their $19,000 goal because they didn't want to listen to me and build their audience first. But there's a picture. Welcome to our channel. All we want to do is advertise to you. That's how most people are working their social media channels. Stop doing that. Be inclusive. Make it fun. Involve them. Don't just post about what's for sale. So, typical band will post, buy our CD, download our single, buy our shirt, come to our show. Download our show, come to our CD, buy our shirt, buy our single. Over and over and over and over. You can't build a following by just advertising to them. Talk about, this is given away a lot. This is also in the book. It's in my courses. Talk about your first album, your favorite album, your most recent concert, your favorite all these other topics are related to you as a musician and a music educator because they're part of your story. It's a way for you to tell your story, endear your fans to you, learning more about you and the common interests you have, and also asking them, what was your first concert? What was your favorite? What was your first guitar? What's your favorite amp to use at small bar gigs or whatever? And that's what builds a community. That's how we built Drum Talk TV. I had no emotional attachment to the fact that, maybe people will like watching other drummers drum solos and how to clean gear and how to tune, and more than they'll like our interviews. That's fine with me. And when I had that epiphany and realized that there's so much more as a media company what we're doing than just post our interviews, it's the same for all you artists and educators and composers, producers, whatever you do. Even if you're not a musician, it works the same way. Whether it's a pizza chain, a shoe store selling boats, it's all the same.
You call that the 80-20 rule in your book, right? Yes. So in essence, it really is about building a relationship with people, not just throwing them your stuff, saying, buy my stuff. It's right. You think about anybody that you buy from, you got to know, like, and trust them first. And then
exactly.
Right? Yeah,
exactly. And I've really seen, not just in my own experience with Drum Talk TV, but with a lot of clients and a lot of other gurus sort of in a whole different space teaching the same thing. That's all about brand love. You need trust, likability, and brand love before they'll even sign up for a newsletter, let alone buy tickets to your show or, your CD or crowdfund or something like that. The gentleman who I mentioned, not his name, his first name is John, who I mentioned in the book and when I teach, who had a failed crowdfunding campaign, I said, John, you don't have a following. You've only got, I think it was 1,491 page likes on his Facebook page. You don't have a following. You're rushing to do this crowdfunding campaign. No one's going to give you money. Let me show you how to do this. No, I got to do this now. I need the money. We got to do this and that. Out of desperation, he did it. So think about this for a minute. To reach his goal of $19,000, it's kind of a weird number, but to reach his goal of $19,000, all he needed to get was $12.73 from each of his 1,491 followers. Pretty easy, right? I mean, Dave, if I needed it and I ran to you somewhere and I said, hey, can you give me $12.73?
Absolutely.
I don't have my wallet, want to go buy some stuff. You know, what's the big deal? But it shows he didn't have a relationship with these people and not enough people. So that's how, just an example of how difficult it is. So if you're thinking of doing a crowdfunding, people won't give money just because you put it out there. For the most part, people won't give money just because it's a worthy cause. And there's a lot of really great stuff out there on Kickstarter that has nothing to do with music.
Right.
Nothing. One of the biggest examples is it was a portable solar cooler, like to put food and drinks in for camping and stuff. And the solar, like, banked the energy so it would last a long time. They wanted to raise something like $25,000. They raised like over $1 million. Wow. So
amazing.
It's a balance between the cool factor and is this really for everybody, and your rewards. Are your rewards good enough? And the relationship you have. So in all transparency, 3.5 years ago, Drum Talk TV ran a Kickstarter, which is an all or nothing campaign. And we ran Kickstarter because of the trust people have with Kickstarter, rather than one of the other ones that are all good, where you keep what you get. We being my former partner and still best friend, Lori Shoup, who was working with me at Drum Talk TV at the time, we worked with someone who had a successful crowdfunding campaign before. They had a studio. We spent 3 days in another area recording this thing. We had amazing gifts, rewards, giveaways, all this stuff, and the thing totally failed. Now, this was 3.5 years ago, and we were just like dumbfounded. And Lori figured it out. She said, you know what? People know you from the interviews, but they don't know you. You don't have a relationship with them, and they don't know me at all. Lori was working totally behind the scenes. So here's these two dickheads doing this video that yeah, they know me from the interviews and stuff, but to say that we're doing this, and here's how we're going to use the money, and it's going to help you. Here's some great. We didn't have that kind of relationship. Just simple as that. It was right after that, 2 months later, that Facebook Live came out. It might have even been a little longer. It might have been another year. And that's when I started doing the almost daily vlogs. I do lives on Facebook 4 to 6 times a week, try to make it fun, inclusive. I give stuff away most of the time. We have competitions with no reward, and we have some competitions with rewards every month, different types of things. So the big lesson there is relationship, and it takes more than just putting something out there for it to work. And that doesn't mean hammering them over the head with it, you know, and all this can easily be done on social media without spending money on it. We've never boosted a post. We've never run an ad. I will tell you right now, I will be running social media ads for the book because that's different, but I've never bought likes. We've never boosted posts of Drum Talk TV content or interviews. And in December 7th, 2017, we hit 1 million likes. And that was in 5 years, less than 5 years. Now you might think, oh, 5 years, but you don't need 1 million freaking likes. Get 50,000, get 100,000. And it's not about the likes. It's about the engagement. Look up, when we're done, not now, look up, people, your 5 or 3 favorite big brands, whether they're in music or otherwise. One of your favorite restaurant brands, one of your favorite music gear brands, one of your favorite automaker brands, your favorite place to shop, and something else. And you'll see that a lot of these companies that are dozens or 100+ years old have millions of likes, because it was easy when Facebook came out after they already built this legacy. People are going, oh, Coca-Cola, like, oh, Toys R Us, like, oh, you know, what, Jeep, like, whatever it is. So now these companies have 1 million, 5 million, 17 million likes, and you look at their timeline on their page, whether it's Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, they have no engagement. So doesn't it seem odd that a company with 3 or 15 million likes has 2 shares and 1 comment? And the likes on a post don't matter, by the way. If you have 1,000 likes on a post, that's neat. But if you don't have comments or shares or video views, it didn't do anything.
Yeah, can I ask about that? You talk a little bit about that in your book, and I don't want you tell me how far down the rabbit hole you want to go with this.
Yeah,
but
no worries, we can go as far as you want, as long as we climb back out.
Right, okay. Yeah, because we gotta get back to drumming, right? So you talked about reach, engagement, page likes, and this is specific to Facebook. Can you talk a little bit about what those top things you need to focus on as a musician with your fan page are?
The top things to focus on?
Yes, because you're saying page likes that
Right.
maybe not as important as we think they are.
Right. And so in the book, and I'm going to show you, I'm not just saying, hey, buy the book and get the answer. Here's the answer is right here. The things that, these are your Facebook insights. And if you haven't seen these, shame on you folks. And especially if you have a fan page, you should look at this every day. Those 4 that are X'd out don't matter. They're worthless stats. And I explain why in the book. But what matters in the order of what's shown here is reach is number 1, because none of the other stats happen without reach. So you got to reach people. Number 2 is post engagements aside from post likes. So we're talking about comments and shares. Comments are where you learn from your audience what they like, what they don't like, what they want more of, what they want less of. It's also where you build that relationship. Humanize the experience. Respond to comments. If you get 150 comments in one post, you don't have to respond to everyone, but at least put some blanket, thing there that says, hey, everybody, this is Dan. Thanks so much for following what we do. Happy you enjoyed this post. Something like that. Besides comments is shares. Shares are how you grow organically. And when you post, don't say, please like, comment, and share. People know how it works. If they like it, they'll like it. If they feel it's share worthy, they'll share it. If they have a comment, for better or worse, believe me, they'll give you a comment. But don't ask them for it. You don't need to do that. After that, it's followers. Or actually, I have it marked now where it's page likes. And the only reason why page likes are important is because no one knows that they're not. Reach is the most important thing. And again, none of those other engagement actions will happen without reach. But how do you do all this? Because once you reach them, your stuff has got to be good. And the hardest act to follow becomes your own. Because you post something that goes viral, now what do? So it's all right here on my shirt. Love what you do and get others to fall in love with being part of it. How do you do that? Well, you do that by posting exceptional content to share with them that matters to them. Take the myopic lobe in your brain and get rid of it. Because we cannot believe that all our stuff is cool. Because some of our stuff might be cool to this person and to these people, but not to them. And that's why you need to understand your audience, have a variety of content. And I'm married, not for the first time, but I'm married with 11 combined kids, and we just had our 19th grandkid. You cannot please everybody with the same thing. Imagine if I got all those people together. How many is that? 11 and 19, 40 people. And I said, hey, we're having ramen tonight for the family reunion. 4 of the little kids would be thrilled.
Sure. Sounds good.
The others would take away my beer.
Right.
So it's really, really important and don't feel like, again, well, I'm the artsy one. This is for my business manager to do. Yeah. You need to know it in order to get the right business person to do it for you. I don't just hire blindly. I know what I know, so I know who's best suited to hire, and then I train them with one of our courses.
I was just going to ask, is that the biggest misconception that you see or find with musicians, especially, because we're talking about social media marketing for musicians, that I just want to do my art and the music, somebody else will handle the business? Yeah,
absolutely. Most musicians, I've had them blatantly say that to me. No, I'm just going to let people like you post my videos. I don't want to learn the business part. That's going to encourage me to help you out. But yeah, David, absolutely. And I understand why, because again, I came from your world, musicians, and educators. in the late 70s and through the 80s, when I was playing up and down the Sunset Strip every night at the Roxy and the Whiskey and Madame Wong's and the Troubadour and all these places, I didn't think about, well, I was going to say that I didn't think about the business part, but I always kind of did a little bit. I was actually also our stage manager. I designed our stage. I managed our crew and all that, but I never thought about the marketing and the, all of that stuff. And it was a different world then. And the record companies, the PR companies, bless their hearts, they're trying to do the right thing, but they don't know what results are, and they don't have a track record of results either. So you've got to learn this stuff the same way. Look, you spend so much time learning your craft, right? You spend so much money on your gear. You spend so much pain and heartbreak, blood, sweat, and tears and anguish being in and out of bands and dealing with those knuckleheads and their significant others' drama. You go through all of that, but yet we're hesitant to learn how to capitalize on it. So please understand, everybody, I say this with all the love in the world, that to learn this is to connect that last part of that loop so that now it's a nice circle that keeps feeding itself and you get better and better and better and better at it. Like I said, we had 47,000 fans on the Drum Talk TV page, and we're reaching almost 1 million people a week in week 7 of existence, not just being on Drum Talk TV, but week 7 or on Facebook, but week 7 of the brand, we had 47. I know people who have had a Facebook page for 5 years that don't have that. And going back to what I was saying about those big brands where they already had a legacy, so people are just going like. We came by 4, 5, 6 years after Facebook, We've earned every follower we've ever, and I'm sure earned the ones we've lost. And you will lose fans, and that's okay. It's not for them. You can't please everybody. It's okay. There's 2 billion people on Facebook alone. There's 600 million on, well, here's how, on Instagram, here's how I should break it down. 64% of all consumers use Facebook. And for your artistic ones out there, and I did say artistic, consumers are the people buying your swag, going to watch you play, even if you play for free, making sure that that bar is making a lot of money from the drinks they sell and the food they sell, because people come to watch you and you're packing the house. Consumers are buying your CDs, they're downloading your music, putting butts in. See, those are consumers. And 64% of them use Facebook. 12% use Pinterest. 11% use Twitter, and only 9% use Instagram. So while you're doing the gotta be on Instagram dance, understand how it's all really working and where people really are and how it really works. I'm not saying not to use those other platforms, but if you master Facebook, which comes with every bell, whistle, feature, function, benefit, app, boozy doodle, knick-knack, paddywhack, sticking up your crack, that all the others have put together, rolled up into one for you to use, you master that first, and Pinterest, Snapchat, Periscope, Instagram, Whoozy Doodle, whatever else you want to use will be easy. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, I could just use that app that'll spit it out everywhere. The reason I don't use those is because, and David knows, if you create the most effective post for Facebook, it's not necessarily going to even fit into Twitter or into Instagram because of the video length and the allowable amount of characters, and how it's used is differently. So maybe you want to modify your message and everything like that. So I say it takes more time, takes more effort, but put in the work, do it right, get the best results. And we still do it like that. Do we need to do it like that? I mean, if you think about it, we're in our 6th year, 1,038,000 fans or whatever it is. We cover events all over the world. We interview artists and educators all over the world. I could go on and on and on. It'd be so easy to just have one person load all this crap into an app that spits it out to 4 or 5, 8 different channels. But I won't allow that. I want this channel used the most effectively and in the most effective way it can be. And that means the post is modified a little bit. Same thing on LinkedIn, same thing on YouTube, same thing on Facebook, same thing on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere else. I hope that makes sense. I know, and David, I know you know this too. Everyone's busy, and that's our number one excuse to not do stuff. Everyone's busy, but I'm going to tell you, people, when I was the only person working for Drum Talk TV, I still had a wife. I had all those kids. I had almost all those grandkids. I was also teaching social media on steroids. I was doing it in person. I was consulting. I was teaching it online. I was writing articles. I was helping my wife with her business. And I was doing Drum Talk TV. If I'm able to make it work, you can do it.
Right.
We're all born with the same 24 hours. The success is the sum of what we've done with those, whether it's the guy at the bottom of the off-ramp of the freeway selling oranges, or Oprah Winfrey, or Steve Gadd, or Einstein, or whoever. And it's not about the best ideas. It's about the best strategies. Did I mention I have a book that teaches that?
Where can people get the book, Dan?
Just go to Amazon and search Dan Shinder, and this series will come up. This series is Social Media Marketing for Musicians That Works. And on Amazon, if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can get it for free. You can get it for $2.99 US as an ebook, or you can get the paperback with the black and white pictures, which is fine, for $5.99 US. And if you buy if you get the ebook, I think you can get this for free, actually. Or it's the other way around. It shows you when you go to my page on Amazon. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's in little bite-sized nuggets that are not only affordable for anybody. Now you have to understand that you need to do it. Then you have to want to do it. Then you have to just freaking do it.
Right. And go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, David.
It's great information, and I'm glad you're doing this as far as presenting some of this, because it's a whole different world of knowing the information and then applying something. That takes practice, repetition, work, and all of this. And I love that it's a volume. It's sort of like you got your Harry Potter books coming out in series and volumes.
Yeah.
What's the schedule, do you know, with your publisher of when those will be coming out?
Yes, because I'm the publisher, so I've got that figured out. So by the time you air this, the first and second one are out. I'm doing my best to put them out about every 3 weeks.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there'll be 10 in total.
Excuse me?
10 in total.
Yes, and then what I'm going to do is, while the 10 are still available, I'm going to take all of them and I am going to mash them up into one bigger book. And then I'm also going to pick probably 4 of them and write a new book on 4 specific topics that I'll go much deeper into. One of them is video. One of them is content creation and really also understanding your audience and how to drill that down and identify it and really figure out what they want. And another one is I might go much deeper on things like understanding your results and what are results, where can you find them, what are the intangible ones, and what are the ones that you can actually feel by looking at your statistics and your analytics. And everything I teach works for any social media platform, including YouTube and Vimeo, LinkedIn, anything like that. So I'm looking forward to that. The challenge is just, I'm using the same, not excuse, but reason everybody else has for getting these done, and that's time. But I made a commitment to myself. So here's a funny story about how I came up. Why 10? Why 10 volumes? I could write 20, or I could have done 5. So my mentor of this, Bob Pike, who's a very accomplished author. He's 76 years old. He's written 33 books on people and management and corporate management, things like that. He's my mentor that lit a fire under my butt to write this series. Wow. The reason it's 10 is because he said, Dan, you can get a huge discount if you buy 10 ISBN codes. That's the barcode there. Right. So I thought, okay, I'm going to buy 10 and do 10 volumes. So that's how I came up with 10. But then I knew there's always more. Just like drumming, just like piano, music, just like anything, it can go on forever. But I thought this is a great way for me to break down in my mind what 10 different things could I write about that will help people right away, even if they bought them out of order or different orders? And I realize some people might say, essentials I need to know. Sounds too complicated. Ooh, hashtags though. I want to know more about hashtags. Ooh, video. I heard we should be doing more video. But I don't know about this one or that one. Or, and that's fine. I recommend all of them, not because no one's getting rich off of this. Believe me. I mean, think about it. It's free on Kindle. It's $2.99 for the ebook, and I'm not sending the grandkids to college on this, I don't think. So it's more about breaking it down in digestible, compartmentalized subjects, topics that if you apply them from day one, you will get astounding results. Just like Doug was saying in there, just like Linda Arcello Earl, Philip Gelb, who has Phoenix Drum Company. If I may read just one more.
Please.
Philip says, from applying what I learned from Dan. So he wrote this in October of 2015. And he says, from what I learned from Dan, by July 2016, my sales were 240% over the previous year already. So it works even if you're selling a Gizmo or a Wikidoodle or a
amazing.
So what's it?
Yeah, amazing. It's social media marketing for musicians that work. Dan, let's leave with somebody. It's a musician. Susie Johnson, Joe Smith, whoever wants to learn more about what you're doing. Where's the number one place that you would recommend they start with more of this social media?
As far as finding out, or what they need to do?
Sorry, what they need to do for social media. What's the thing they could start right now, right today, that would help them on this road that you're teaching?
I'm going to use a cheat sheet.
Go for it. Yeah.
And I'm going to use a couple. And it really is get the book and learn how to do it. But the reason what's in here for the first volume is the answer to your question. For whom is your content for? It's impossible to come up with great content unless you know who it's for and you understand them. Great content is in the eyes of the beholder. You've heard people say, oh, pizza sucks, or that pizza sucks, or that drummer sucks, or that album sucks. It doesn't suck. You just don't like it. So who is your album for? Who is your social media for? Who is your product for? When you understand that, I explain how to figure that out and how to get out of the box and do something different that's going to get you different results. I have the formula for fabulous content, and it talks about those things I said. Or these are actually different things. And you can all see what that says. You need those 5 ingredients to make it happen. And I tell how to do that, how to be present, relevant, be inclusive, be helpful to others, and be seen as an expert in your field. And how to do this easily. And this is really the first thing to learn is how do I reach more people without giving Facebook more money to reach people? Because here's the mistake people make. Their posts suck. And I say that because they're not getting engagement. They're not getting reach. The videos aren't getting views. So they go, but Facebook says if I spend $20, I can reach 5,000 more people. Think about this for a minute, people. How does you giving Facebook money to show something broken to more people, how does that fix it? It just means more people are going to see something that doesn't work. So and there's going to be a volume on this, probably 8 or 9, volume 8 or 9 will be on when to boost a post or when to run an ad. You boost a post that's already proven itself organically. But if it's proven itself enough, like gotten 1 million video views and reached 23 million people, then you don't need to boost it. And those numbers are not insanely a pipe dream or anything. If I can do it, you folks can do it. It really is that simple.
It's fantastic. Social media marketing for musicians that works. It's Dan Shinder, our friend from Drum Talk TV. Thank you so much, Dan, for being on the show.
Thank you, David, so much for having me. And for all of those who have hung in there and watched this, I congratulate you if you're interested, because this is a big step. And as musicians and artists, we need to kind of turn our creative hat to the side sometimes and put on the business hat. And there's another hat, and that's called the fan hat. And David learned all about this. Yeah, look at things through the fan's eyes and not presume everything's cool, because not all of it is.